right. This time, South Carolina, we did not have a too dry day today. Yes, there is rainfall currently going on throughout the state right now, giving us some beneficial rainfall. Beneficial rainfall. And honestly, we're going to see that as we continue into a bit of tonight, going into maybe a little bit of tomorrow as well. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about continuing to see that rainfall and thunderstorm chances potentially as we get into midweek as well. And then maybe the chance of dry conditions Monday through Tuesday. But all of that we will talk about right now as we go on and look at our current temperatures, current conditions. We're going to look at the radar first. And for right now, it looks like that we're talking about rainfall activity going on throughout the upstate, going on throughout the Midlands, the Low Country, the Grand Strand, the PD areas right now. And so this is causing us to have, again, beneficial rainfall. Beneficial rainfall. Now, if we go on and scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., I mean, we're talking about rainfall right now going on up here inside of the Northeast. We have rainfall over here inside of, obviously, the Carolinas, Virginia, Georgia, Alabama, Florida getting in on some rainfall. Even some rainfall going on over here in Minnesota, going on in Iowa, South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, going on also inside of Kansas. And then we also do have some severe weather going on. I mean, we have a tornado warning down here just to the north and west of Dallas with baseball-sized hail that's going on near Jacksboro, Texas right now. Look at this thing on radar. I mean, you can easily see the hook that this thing right here has. So, that's just, some cool imagery to see there. Obviously, not great scenario for everybody to the north and west of Dallas right now. And then there's also one over here inside of Oklahoma near Melbourne, going on over near Ravia, and then some other areas in Oklahoma. So if you know anybody in those areas, definitely do let them know. Definitely do let them know. And then as we move over here to the west even more, we have some rainfall going on throughout the Four Corners area, Nevada, going on into California, with some rainfall and some snowfall in Montana. Now, cloud cover right now seems to be going on throughout the entire state easily. I mean, easily the entire state's covered right now with cloud cover. And if we go on and look at that cloud cover for the future, go on and push this forward, you can see cloud cover continues as we go into tomorrow morning, as we go into around 10 o'clock in the morning all the way to 12 o'clock noon tomorrow. Cloud cover continues to push its way east, and we may be talking about a clear, hopefully clear Sunday night, but Monday comes along. Monday looks definitely a lot better. Where we're talking about clear skies as we go into the afternoon. Now, what about for our current temperatures? Well, right now we're talking about current temperatures: 72 Somerville, 71 Charleston, 72 Beaufort and Hilton Island, 71 in Conway, Murrells Inlet, 70 Myrtle Beach, 69 Columbia, 71 in Hartsville, as well as 64 in Union, 64 Greenville, 65 from Clemson through Spartanburg, and then to Anderson. Air quality for today, looking like that a good amount of us are inside that moderate category. If you're in the Berkeley County areas over there, though, unhealthy for sensitive groups. So make sure that you are aware. Make sure that you're not outside for too long if you are a part of that unhealthy for sensitive groups people. But we do have some good out there. We definitely do have some good air quality going on. Anderson, Greenwood, Columbia, Rock Hill, Augusta. These areas all have some good air quality moving through. But just make sure that if you're in the yellow, if you're in the orange, that you're just paying attention for tonight. Low temperatures tonight, we're talking about widespread 60s, some high 50s as well. 58 Greenville, 57 in Spartanburg, 62 Columbia, 62 Orangeburg, and 62 in Moncks Corner, 66 Charleston, and 62 in Georgetown, 65 in Myrtle Beach, and 63 in Florence. Now for our high temperatures for tomorrow, we're talking about 84 in Greenville, Spartanburg, 87 in Columbia, 86 Orangeburg, as well as 81 in Charleston, 80 Georgetown, 75 in Myrtle Beach, and 85 inside of Barnwell, 86 in Aiken, and 82 in Hilton Island. Now what about for our rainfall? Rainfall definitely is a big part of what's going on right now as we go throughout the next 24 hours or so. So you can, when you see 100th of an inch to 1/10 of an inch, pretty much for most of the state. This is what we're looking at. And so Greenville, Spartanburg's included in there, Columbia, Charleston, Hilton Head Island. Some of us, 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, Kingstree, Moncks Corner, Florence, going on over in the Winnsboro, Newbury, Greenwood. Maybe even 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch for Myrtle Beach, going on to Georgetown and Dillon. And somebody may even see 1/2 an inch up to an inch. So that's all possible. That is all possible as we go into tonight, going to tomorrow. SPC outlook for tonight. Obviously, we're talking about thunderstorm activity throughout the entire state. Nobody should really be too shocked by that just because, I mean, right now, I have not seen any thunderstorms at my house today. But obviously, I'm over in the low country, so we have not received our chance of rainfall mainly yet. But I do see right now near Manning, there's about a 10% chance for a thunderstorm over there. Near Dillon, I see a 15%. Over here near Greenville, around a 4%. So the chances are there for sure. The matter is of just, is it currently lightning? You know, is it currently, are we currently seeing thunder right now? Hearing thunder with those storms right now? So if you did receive a thunderstorm today, if you're currently receiving one, definitely put that inside the chat right now so we can see if we did have a stormy day today or not. But let's go on now and talk about day 2, because tomorrow we still do have that thunderstorm risk for the low country, the southern Midlands, the Grand Strand areas, but it's definitely not as bad. And then day 3, as we go into Monday, no thunderstorms are expected. Fire weather, we're good there. Excessive rainfall, we're not seeing anything here for the next 5 days. Yes, as we go through days 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I mean, 4, you have this little area up here inside of the upstate. We'll see how this develops, but Walhalla, Westminster, near Salem as well. But it's an isolated risk 4 days out that's subjected to change. Will it change for the worse or will it change for the better? We'll see, but day 4, that is on Tuesday. Now, as we go into the crazy score, if you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how active our conditions are throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And right now we're at a 42. We're at a 42. Why? Well, mainly number 1, mostly cloudy skies statewide. That adds to it. Winds aren't that bad, but there is definitely a chance of showers and storms right now. Highest overnight going into like the eastern parts of the state, going to the low country with light rainfall amounts. Generally under that 1/4 of an inch. Higher in stronger storms though. And also still dry conditions overall as of now. As we go on and check out real quick, here it is right here. Yeah, they still have not lifted the burn ban yet, so we still cannot burn anything yet. So make sure that you are not burning anything. The burn ban has still not lifted yet, so that's one of the reasons why that score is still kind of up there a little bit. So let's go on now and look at the models. We're going to talk about the models now. We're going to talk about the short term first, then we're going to go on and get into the long term. But for right now, short term, and that's going to be with the HRRR to kick us off here. Remember, time is at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure that you go in and pay attention to that, because that is the primary area of where if you get lost and you have no idea where we are, obviously that's not going to be too helpful at that point. So make sure that you are aware. So we're going to start off here on the models for tonight, starting off here at 9 o'clock p.m. You go in and push this forward, and as we get into around 12 o'clock in the morning, going on to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we see here you can definitely still see showers and storm activity potentially going on in the upstate still. Low country still seeing some. PD, Midlands. I mean, you're seeing rainfall throughout the state. Even as you go into noon tomorrow, I mean, we're still seeing some rainfall activity in the low country, still in the Midlands, still inside the PD areas as well. And look at this rainfall activity. You can see some thunderstorm activity going on over here inside the low country by around 2 to 3 p.m. So we may be talking about some pretty heavy hitters in terms of rainfall that could definitely help out this drought a lot. So hopefully this does happen and we get a huge downpour to try and move through. Especially down there inside the low country area where the drought is pretty prolific right now, especially over there in Colleton counties, going on near Jasper counties inside of Allendale, over in Beaufort, Charleston, Dorchester, Berkeley right now. So hopefully rainfall does move through there, and hopefully it's a good amount. Now that does push all the way down throughout the coastal areas, and maybe another round afterwards as you go into the evening, into the nighttime hours. But then Monday comes along, Monday, Tuesday looking like the more drier days. So let's go on now and look at the GFS. I want to look at the GFS. Time is at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure that you're paying attention to that. But just as you go in and push this forward all the way through Tuesday, going into Tuesday at around 11 a.m., going into around 2 p.m. here on Tuesday, you can definitely see some rainfall trying to move through maybe on Tuesday, but definitely not a huge amount. Wednesday, that's the day that we're really looking at right now. That may bring us a good amount of rainfall from the upstate down towards the coastal areas again through Wednesday. That goes through pretty much almost all day. Thursday comes along, nice and dry. Friday comes along, nice and dry. When we look at Saturday, Saturday comes along and we're seeing some more rainfall going throughout the upstate, going throughout the Midlands, going throughout the Low Country, and the PD and the Grand Strand areas on Saturday. So rainfall activity is going to be more with us, more active, which is what we want to see. We want to see more rainfall. We want to see more activity just so we can go on and chip away at this drought. And I've been saying that for weeks now at this point. I said we were not going to get rid of this drought just overnight. I think to get rid of the drought, I saw somewhere that we have to get like 8 to 10 inches of rainfall. I said if we get 8 to 10 inches of rainfall in one night, that's going to cause flooding. That's going to cause problems. So that's why I said what I said about we're just going to have to chip away at this drought. We will not be able to get rid of this drought overnight. The drought that we have right now is too prolific to just get rid of in one night or just in 1 week. But as we get throughout next weekend, going into Sunday, and then we go into Monday, which is the week after next week, we're still seeing some dry conditions. And this will just add on to the drought more and more. The more that we don't see that rainfall, the more the drought's just going to grow more and more. So, we'll see how it adds up. And I do think that our drought monitor predictions are definitely going to get a lot more difficult to really look at, especially as we get into the next week or two, just because obviously we're going to be getting rainfall. So, obviously our drought prediction won't be as such, so easy to where the point to where we know it's going to expand every week. Now we're getting into a point to now where we're looking and we're saying, okay, did it really expand or did it shrink? Now, as we go throughout the rainfall for the next 7 days or so, we go on and look at the WPC, and we can move over here in the southeast. Just going throughout the next 3 days, first in general through Tuesday. You're talking about 2/10 of an inch, 3/10, maybe some of us not even 1/10. So it really just determines on where you are and how lucky you get with that rainfall. But there are a couple of us who may try to get to around that 1/2 inch or so. But what about day 7? So going into next week, Saturday. Looking like right now, we could potentially see widespread inches of rainfall. An inch all the way up to 1.5 inches, maybe even up to around 2 inches of rainfall as we go into next week. Which is definitely very, very good, great, fantastic. Will not, we still won't be done with the drought though. Burn ban may be lifted, but the drought monitor is still going to be pretty hefty on us. Now, as we go on and look at how much rainfall we could see throughout the next 300, 400 hours or so, we're going to look at the ensembles real quick and see what they say. Ensembles, for the most part, they're showing around a good, 2 to 3 inches of rainfall as we go all the way into the middle part of May. So again, not the most, but definitely beneficial. Let's go on now and look at our temperatures. We're going to start off here with the GFS first, and then we're going to go on and look at the anomalies. Since we're pretty much done with, precipitation, we know what that looks like. We go throughout this weekend here, we're talking about cooler temperatures, obviously, due to a cold front trying to pass us. But as we get more and more into next week, we're not talking about these warm temperatures that we have always been seeing. Look at how we get into Monday, going into Tuesday, going into Wednesday. We're talking about temperatures at some time being around 10 to 15 degrees below average during the day on Tuesday, potentially. Get all the way through Wednesday, going into Thursday. Look at this. Cool conditions, even as we go into the end part of the week next week. Look at this. Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 to 15 degrees below average. And to our west, they're not looking any better. So next week is definitely going to be one of the cooler weeks, not too much of a warmer week. So apologies to any of the warm weather fans, but to the cool weather fans, You definitely may enjoy next week. And we'll talk about next week in depth as we get into tomorrow evening. But for right now, it looks like next week could be a pretty cool one. Look how we get into Saturday, 30 degrees below average, and that is 5 o'clock p.m. I mean, that may be a high temperature right there of close to 50, maybe probably around 50, 60, somewhere around there. So that's what we're looking at for next week. We go even further though. We go into the week after next week. We're still seeing cooler temperatures. So definitely a cold blast is on the way, and these warm temperatures are going to try and skedaddle out of here. But then by the time you get into Monday, this goes into like May, like the 10th-ish or so. Some warmer temperatures maybe trying to come along, but definitely cool temperatures take the spotlight as we get more and more into next week, into the week after. And now you might be asking, okay, well, that's cool and all, but what about the actual temperatures? Well, I'm going to give you the actual temperatures right now. We're going to start off here tonight. As you go into tomorrow, obviously, we're talking about high temperatures up into the 70s, 80s. And then you're definitely going to see temperatures, still getting into the 80s by the time you get into next week. But watch as we get into the end of next week. Look at this. We're talking about at like 11 a.m. going to around 2 p.m. You see, some 70s here and there, but you're not seeing anything too bad. But look at Saturday. Saturday comes along, and look at this like kind of arc of cold air that we have. Let me see. I have my pen right here. See if I can go in and draw it out. Just waiting for it. There it is. Drag it over here. Look at this arc of cold air that we have. That shades in pretty much all of this area. All cold air, seeing from 50s all the way down to 40s as well. All inside of this region over here, inside of the blue. And while we're receiving temperatures into the 40s and 50s, look down here in Florida, they're seeing 90s. North Carolina, they're seeing 60s. Tennessee, they're seeing 60s. Arkansas, northern Arkansas, seeing 60s. Louisiana, seeing 70s. So what is causing this? What's the main, action behind this? Why do we have all this cold air kind of coming down? And I can show you right now as I switch you over to the Crazy Score screen just for a second so I can go in and get this up. But if we go in and take a look at the actual pattern itself, let me go to the JMA, and I'm going to move over here towards the eastern U.S. But if we want to look at the models, we're going to start off here actually with the GFS as well. GFS comes along here around 8 o'clock in the morning. You continue this forward, and what do you see? I mean, you see, a little bit of a ridge trying to form as we get into Monday, Monday comes along, and we start to see ridges. We start to see nice, fair weather starting to go on as we get through. There goes the trough that just brought us our cold front moving off to the east by the time we get into tomorrow going into Monday. And then we're having fun in the sun, obviously Monday. You know that. But then as we get into the 29th, which the 29th is that Wednesday, we're seeing another trough trying to dig down. And then we get all the way into the 30th, which is that Thursday. But we're really watching for May the 2nd because that's the day that we're looking for. And then here is May the 2nd. What do you see? Well, you can see we have this low pressure up here inside the northeast. We have almost like a little zonal flow state. So it almost resembles one, but not quite zonal flow, but kind of looks like it, just due to the fact that how it's almost horizontal. But we have this low pressure up here. We have, the warm temperatures down here. And so obviously what's causing it is this low pressure up here inside of the northeast. That's what's causing us to kind of see that rushing in of cold air from the west moving over into the east. And so if we go and look at the dew points as well, the dew points can also show us, where is it at? Right here. And you can kind of see the same thing. It is pretty much just like a cold front, honestly. It pretty much just is exactly like a cold front. And it's going to bring cooler conditions. I mean, not only just to South Carolina, but look at how you get into like May the 4th. I mean, we're seeing 40s and 30s down in Florida. Now, I know 300 to 400 hours out. I know. But just look at how like prolific this is. I mean, like the entire eastern U.S. is covered by 30s and 40s in May. I mean, it's not like it's like January. It's not like it's February. It's not like it's March. It's not even April. It's May. And we are seeing widespread 30s and 40s throughout the entire eastern U.S., even the central U.S. I mean, you're talking about from South Dakota, North Dakota, down into Texas. You're seeing 40s in May. What about the western U.S.? What are they seeing? Well, the western U.S., they're seeing the same thing pretty much, even colder. You're talking about freezing temperatures over there from the Four Corners region down all the way into California. What does the entire nation look like? 30s and 40s. So will this happen again? 200 hours out. This may probably not happen, but I think it's just kind of interesting to see that in May, everybody could be receiving cold temperatures of, 40s into the 30s, 50s as well. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens for sure. But that's pretty much all I have to say for the long-term future. So let's go on now and check with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say here for tonight. Starting off with Mr. Chris. He says, hello, everyone. Hello to you. My Aunt Lula says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. I pray that everyone had a blessed day. Well, thank you so much for that. Today in Georgetown, our high was around 83. And she said the current temperature is around 71. Well, at my house today, my high temperature was around 94, somewhere around there. Again, I think that is because the way how my weather stations are a bit in a predicament right now. They're not in their normal spot. So I do think that there is a bit of a heat bias right now. In fact, my newer one said 93. Yeah, I think there is a bit of a heat bias right now with mine just because of their position right now. They're not in their regular spot. But if I go on and look at the official one from the National Weather Service over here, they said our high temperature today was around 88. 88 degrees. 88. Continuing our way down, Mr. Griff says, hope you had a blessed day. I did. Got you on 89. And thank God we had a few showers. So, y'all did get some rainfall over there. No rainfall over here. Y'all got some rainfall over there. Please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free. Helps the channel grow absolutely. Right now we have around a good 13 people that have tuned in tonight and only 9 likes. So go and hit the like button if you have not already. Mr. Chris also says currently it's 73. At my house currently it is around a good 73 as well. Mr. Chris says still very cloudy here in Moncks Corner. My yard, talking about something else. And then my Aunt Lewis says I was able to get out and mow the lawn. Thank the Lord for riding lawnmowers. I know that it's about to rain when I heard the frogs croaking. That's a country thing. And then my Nana says, hello, Jay, hello to you. Then my Aunt Lewis says, hooray for South Carolina rainfall. Absolutely. Rainfall's in the state right now. Hopefully it will reach everybody here that's tuning in right now. Then Mr. Michael says, happy Saturday evening, y'all. Hopefully everyone is enjoying a great weekend. Well, thank you so much for that. I surely am. And then Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. My Aunt Lewis says, again, it was partly cloudy for a little while here in Georgetown, but no rain here. Then Mr. Chris says, we still have very cloudy conditions in Moncks Corner. Hopefully more rain happens. Then my cousin Cheryl says, I want to go outside in the rain. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, weatherman. Rainy day here inside of Philadelphia. So thank you, weatherman, for giving me the weather. Everyone enjoy the rest of your weekend. Well, thank you so much for that. Then my Lou says, wow, 40s in May. I hope it doesn't happen. And then, wow, that's strange. Yeah. So we'll see. Again, 200 hours out. So it definitely has the chance of not happening. But just be prepared for it. Always be prepared for weather. Always be prepared. And that's all that I can see here. So let's go on now and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking 4 areas outside of South Carolina. What am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we're going to give them their forecast for them. Right now, I see around 2 out of the 4 here tonight. But starting off, with San Antonio, low temperatures tonight at around 72, high temperature for tomorrow at 93, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 73. There is a slight chance of thunderstorms tonight, but after that, nothing for tomorrow. In fact, pretty much your next chance of rainfall will be on Thursday. Severe weather, excessive rainfall For you, not expected at this time. Even in terms of fire weather right now, fire weather for you is also just not really expected. Now for your future, does look like that your temperatures will be up high. We're talking about 98 on Tuesday. You might get close to 100 degrees as you go into Tuesday. Yes, close to 100 degrees on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're talking about 95, but then you will cool back down. Friday, high of 85. Saturday, high of 74. So, definitely do with that information with what you will. Then Raleigh, we have low temperatures tonight at around 61. High temperature for tomorrow at 72. And then low temperatures tomorrow night at around a good 49. Showers are likely tonight, and then there is a chance of showers tomorrow, so make sure that you are aware of that. In fact, right now, it actually is currently raining right now over here at the Raleigh station right now, where they have their weather station at. So it is currently raining over there right now. But, number one, I know that that's great drought progress. I know that y'all also are receiving a pretty big drought over there as well. So I know that that's beneficial rainfall for y'all as well. And then in terms of your future, because obviously you have really no severe weather, no excessive rainfall. Temperatures are going to continue to be in the 70s, maybe climbing a little bit as you get into, for example, Wednesday, high of 77. But then you will cool back down as you get into next week. Precipitation-wise, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a little bit of a break on Thursday. But Friday, Saturday, we're talking about rainfall almost every day next week, so make sure that you are aware of that. Then for Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at around a good 43. High temperature for tomorrow at 56. And low temperatures tomorrow night at 43 as well. We're talking about rain being expected tonight. You will see rain tonight. In fact, it's raining right now. There is a chance of showers tomorrow, and then no precipitation is expected tomorrow night either. Now for your severe weather, for your excessive rainfall, right now you're looking good. And then for your future, it looks like that temperatures for you are going to continue to kind of stay in this, rise into the 60s, but they're kind of going to just stay there. Then rainfall is going to kind of go up. That rainfall chance Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe for Friday night, but that rain chance is definitely going to be there. So make sure that you are aware. Make sure that you are paying attention, just because obviously, you don't want to be caught off guard, especially when it comes to any sort of rainfall. And then the final location, being probably the most active right now, if I was to say so myself, is definitely Duncan, Oklahoma. With low temperatures tonight at around a good 62, high temperature for tomorrow at around 90, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 69. Slight chance of thunderstorms not only tonight, but tomorrow and tomorrow night. So you will be seeing active conditions. Now, for your severe weather, for your excessive rainfall, for right now, you do have a chance of excessive rainfall tonight. Isolated flash flooding is possible with some rainfall that moves through. But I'm going to be completely honest. You've honestly have moved out of the main severe weather region. Your risk was a bit earlier. So for the most part, it looks like that you are getting out of there. You're mostly finishing up. In fact, all of that severe weather is happening to your east. We were talking about areas down inside of Texas, moving down towards Dallas. Which, by the way, if you know anybody inside of Dallas, might want to make sure that they're paying attention to the weather. We're talking about over there near Sulphur, Oklahoma, near Atoka, near Durant. We have 4 tornado warnings right now inside of Oklahoma as we speak, and all of them are to your south and east, or some of them just to your east. Now, in terms of your risk, you're pretty much just looking at that chance of not only tornadoes, but damaging winds and hail. But like I said, I think that you're mainly done for tonight. In terms of tomorrow you do have another slight risk of severe weather. That's for a 2% hatch risk of tornadoes, meaning that you have a 2% chance, obviously, of tornadoes. And some of those tornadoes could potentially be of up to maybe EF2 strength. So make sure that you are aware of that. And then also, as you go into tomorrow, you have a damaging wind risk, 15% risk, and same thing with hail as well, of up to around 2 inches in diameter. After that, though, I think that your severe weather train for now is going to take a little bit of a break, but, you never can count anything out. For your future, temperature-wise, you're going to kind of just remain in the 90s all the way through Monday, but then Tuesday going into Wednesday comes along, and then we're talking about 80s, we're talking about 70s, then we're going to talk about 60s potentially as you get into next weekend. Rainfall wise, you're also going to kind of just stay more on the drier side until you get to around Thursday, going into Friday as well, talking about some 50s for like a 50% chance of rainfall. And that's all that I can see here right now throughout these 4 areas. So a good amount to talk about tonight. And that's really just because, well, just a lot going on throughout the U.S. right now. And speaking of a lot going on throughout the U.S., what is currently going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise? Well, an active spring pattern right now across the center of the nation with several rounds of severe thunderstorms are in the forecast, or is in the forecast, through the weekend. The regions under the greatest threat are the southern plains and the Mississippi Valley. Meanwhile, dry and breezy conditions with dry fuels are also aiding in wildfires across the western plains and the southeast. And for the most part, I mean, maybe some freezing temperatures up there inside the northwest, but I don't see anything else too bad. It looks like that everything else is looking pretty calm. And that's all I have to say for tonight. So make sure if you've not hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so. Hit the subscribe button. We're at 729, trying to get to that main goal of 800. And then share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, and people that you don't talk to regularly because it's free. And you can share as many times as you want. Let's go on and check out the chat one more time. Mr. Chris says, everyone, please remember to stay safe and hydrated. Absolutely. And then, top fans of the night for tonight. Let's go on real quick and count them up real quick. 1 second. So if we start up here, I see around a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then I see around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it was a tie. It was a tie for tonight, but Mr. Chris was there first, so he gets number 1. Mount Lewis at number 2. And then let's see. I do believe that my Nana is at number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be part of the top fans, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Also being here early, being active, and then also being a subscriber, because if you're not a subscriber, you cannot type anyway. So let's go on right now and give these 3 a round of applause for making it for tonight. So that's all I have to say. Make sure you go on and hit those 2 buttons before you leave, and I will be back going into tomorrow morning with your Sunday morning forecast update. Also tomorrow evening with your Sunday evening. Remember, we're going to be talking about the last week of April. Already done with April. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, and then we'll talk about the beginning parts of May as well tomorrow evening. Make sure that you're there for that, as that is going to be a pretty big forecast to talk about.